Hello, and welcome to Montage. I'm Ed Odel. At one time or another, we've all had that underlying fear that a medical checkup will bring bad news. Jim Brosmer is here tonight to tell us about two young married professionals who did indeed receive terrible news from their doctor and what they're doing to share their experience with the community.
Ed, I first met this young Miami suburban couple while I was covering testimony before the Presidential Commission on AIDS back in November. And what I saw and heard that day convinced me that this was a story that really needed to be shared with South Florida.
My name is Doug Segal. I'm 35 years old. I've been married for almost 6 years. I have 3 small preschool children. I am a hemophiliac, and I have AIDS.
My name is Ellen Bukstel Segal. I'm Doug's wife. I'm his friend and his lover. I do not have AIDS, nor do I test positive for the AIDS antibodies. Our children do not have AIDS, nor do they test positive.
What must it be like to know you're going to die? What is it like not to be able to make plans? To know everything important in your life will continue without you? When Doug Segal went to his doctor complaining of fatigue and fever, he says the doctor's words came out one at a time, in slow motion, like a bad dream.
The doctor diagnosed me with having AIDS-related complex, which is AIDS with the exception that I had not had an opportunistic infection yet. The reaction was, we were kind of stunned because he said what he told us to do was make contingency plans and hope for the best.
Doug and his wife, Ellen Bukstel Segal, have been trying to do just that since his diagnosis in October of 1986. Both are 35 years old. They live in a large, comfortable house in the suburbs with their 3 children. Brett is 5 years old, Todd is 4, and there's Margo, who will be 2 next month. Until about a year ago, Doug worked as a printing broker. These days, he works at home with Ellen, who runs her own graphics design firm.
Hi, this is Maxine at Design Workshop.
Doug's mother also helps out at the business, while their housekeeper, Teresa Henderson, tends to the youngsters.
Get on up. You can do it. That girl.
Aside from having to deal daily with his health problems, Doug is trying hard to overcome the fear that his own children may not remember their father after he's gone.
That's one of the problems that I have dealing with death is, dealing with my death, is that time and life goes on. I am here now. One day I won't be here. But my children are still going to go to school. Ellen is still going to work. Life is going to go on. And the time, and I think it bothers me that I won't be here to participate.
Is there bitterness at the core about the innocence of the children and them not understanding? And do you feel like something's been taken away?
Well, yeah, something has been taken away, and that is I will not be here. I probably will not be here to watch my children grow. And because they're so young now, there stands a very good chance of them not even remembering who I am without being shown by means of videotape or pictures. To me, that is the most difficult thing to deal with when I think about my upcoming death.
Doug and Ellen are sure that their misfortune will help society deal with AIDS. Both are convinced that the social stigma attached to IV drug abuse and homosexuality has delayed AIDS research and interfered with proper care for AIDS patients who don't have the money, the friends, or the family to help them cope. And it's not just lip service. They've taken their message to the community, on radio talk shows, at public hearings, and especially in the schools, the churches and synagogues.
We've made a presentation to both Doug's synagogue and my synagogue, to the congregation, and the response has been totally positive, and concern and appreciation that someone is speaking to them directly about the issue and making them aware of the need to be concerned about all of these issues.
See, we're able to talk about the issue, and the issue is AIDS. Many people who have AIDS, many of the groups that have been established, they have to deal with the issue of the gay community or the issue of drug abusers before they can get down to the nitty-gritty and talk about AIDS. These other high-risk groups threaten so many people in this country that really stands in the way of someone with AIDS being treated as a normal a person who is ill. I mean, take me for example. My lifestyle may not threaten the majority of the population, but the bottom line is I have AIDS. Somebody who is gay who has AIDS, it makes us, I mean, we're the same. You know, the bottom line is we are both now the same.
Through all of this, Doug and Ellen have managed to muster a sense of humor. During my visit to their home, Doug pointed to a corner of their living room where, from a miniature casket, springs the digital symbol of his defiance. But when Doug and Ellen speak of their time together, defiance gives way to love and tenderness.
I think what I'm trying to do now is build memories, because that's where I'll live on, in memories in people's mind, in my children's mind. Ellen and I have always said to each other that we're going to meet in a different life, and I hope that I am someplace where I could watch over them.
And those hopes were some of the very private feelings Doug and Ellen shared with the Presidential Commission on AIDS last November, where Ellen read a poem she had written to her dying husband. It was a moment that moved several members of the commission to tears.
In solitude, I close my eyes. My dreams help me to see the joyful and the happy way that our life used to be. One thing that we have learned for sure, of this I'm truly glad, to live each day as if it was the only one we had. If I must live without you and our life together unsure, we'll find another place in time where we will meet once more.
Jim, that's a real tragedy.
You know, when thousands and thousands of hemophiliacs were infected with the AIDS virus before the medical community really had a handle on what was happening here.
Well, is there any hope at all?
Well, nothing short really of a medical miracle or a big breakthrough in research, an astounding breakthrough in research is going to help Doug and Ellen right now. But I think the amazing thing about the story is that they continue to bring their message out to the community.
Hope it'll help. Thank you, Jim.
When we